recent eliminated contestant from Biggest Loser season 11. How are you doing?
I am doing so well. How are you doing?
Good. You know, we feel pretty special at Diets and Review because we got to know you before America got to know you on the season of Biggest Loser. We talked last summer when you had lost about 120 pounds, and that was before ever even being cast for the show. So can you tell me, just kind of catch everybody up on like the early part of your journey before Biggest Loser?
Yeah, I I decided to start taking steps before I was ever on the ranch to better my own life. And it all started with my mind. Like that's what had to change. Physically, I could do anything if I set my mind to it. And so that's what I did, and I took small steps every single day. And I believe that I would have never been on The Biggest Loser if I wouldn't have taken those steps because I was in a really bad place before that, physically and mentally. And so for me, like, to do what I did beforehand was huge, and it helped me on the show so much because I actually went there believing in myself. And I don't think a lot of people can say that when they first go to the ranch. So for me, like, I just mentally, I knew exactly where I was going, and I had a vision, and I still have that same vision today, and I still work for that every single day.
One of the messages that you're kind of sharing since you've left the ranch is that you don't need the ranch to lose the weight. And I can't tell you how glad I am to hear someone from Biggest Loser say that. And I know people at home think, yeah, well, it's easy for you to say that because you've been there. But, we get emails and blog comments from people all the time saying, well, if I don't make it on Biggest Loser, it's just never going to happen. And that's the truth of the matter is there's only been about 200 of you that have been cast for the show out of the 250,000 that apply every season. So how do you make those people at home, Courtney, believe that they don't need the ranch?
I was one of those people that thought I have to have the ranch to do it. But the truth of the matter is, I started my journey long before Biggest Loser, and it was because of the small steps that I took, and it was the mind change that I made. And I had a great ride at the Biggest Loser, and I accelerated my weight loss there. But I'm finishing my journey at home, and I know what it's like to be that person that's sitting on the couch that feels like you're so deep in a hole that you can't get out of it, and that there's nowhere to go except downhill. But really, that's totally not the truth. Like, there's everywhere to go, and it's all uphill if you just believe that. And that's what I want to spread to America. I believe that that's my message to send, is that it's not about a show. Yes, I got really lucky to be able to share my journey for a couple of months on Biggest Loser, but this is about the change that I made beforehand and the change that I'm making now that I'm home, and the lifestyle that I'm going to live for the rest of my life, and anyone can do it because I know how down and how low you can get. I've been there, and I've done it, and I am where I am today because of the changes that I made. It's not because of what Bob and Jillian made me do. I had to do it. Yeah, I've been so lucky to have Bob and Jillian and to have all the support from Biggest Loser, but if I didn't make those changes, then it wouldn't matter. It starts with you and it ends with you, and that's what I believe everyone needs to know.
Absolutely. Thank you. Let's print that on a billboard. So let's talk about this season. This was a really fun season, and I loved the kind of the camaraderie that came with this season. We haven't seen that in a while, it seems. Was that something that you guys kind of conscientiously went into the season and said, this is what we're going to do, or was just kind of the right group of people to make that happen?
It really was the right group of people. I think that, the times that I didn't make Biggest Loser, that all happened for a reason, because I was supposed to be with these people on season 11. I mean, some of the people are literally going to be in my wedding. I mean, Olivia, Irene, and Hannah are going to be my bridesmaids someday, like, I love those girls more than anything, and I know that I was supposed to be as close as I am with them. And it's been such an amazing ride. Even the people that were on the unknowns that we didn't know for the first 4 weeks, like, those people are my family too. Justin, he sacrificed himself for me, and he's one of my very best friends, and it's just so cool to see that Yeah, I think America sees, oh, there's this gameplay and people threw weigh-ins for this and that and the other, but really we did it because we cared about each other, and we did it because the parents wanted to sacrifice for the kids because they wanted the kids to be there. And it's just really cool to be in the position that I'm in and to know that all 22 of us are as close as we are, and I love every single one of those people.
It's been a fun season to watch for sure. You know,
Thank you.
part of your exit the other night, of course, America as a whole was probably just bawling the other night. Very sad to see you go, and I loved your confidence standing up there and saying, "I'm okay with it." And at least we didn't see you shed any tears. I don't know if you did later on, but how did you make your peace with that? Did you go into the gym that night thinking this is it, and I'm gonna pack my bag and go home?
I didn't think I was going home. But every weigh-in that I walked into, number one, I'd walk in with confidence. Number two, I knew that no matter what happened, everything was going to be the way it was supposed to be. So that's why I stood up on the scale. And when I saw the one, I said, you know what? I'm going home for a reason right now. I don't know what the reason is, but I know that I'm going to figure that out, and I know that I'm going to be okay at home. I wasn't afraid to go home. That was the thing, is like there were people that were there that were very afraid to go home. They didn't know if they could do it at home. I knew I could do it at home. That wasn't the issue. The issue for me was leaving everyone. I didn't want to leave everyone because I'm with them, every day, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to talk to them. So that was the hardest part, and also see how upset everyone else was. It freaked me out. It kind of took me back a little bit, to see Jillian crying and to see Bob crying and to see Allison crying, and it was very humbling for me because I realized then I did impact these people as well. As much as they've impacted me, I've impacted them, and it's been an awesome ride, and I have to be proud of how far I've come, and that's why I didn't cry and I wasn't upset, because I am so proud of where I am right now.
Fantastic. Well, part of the sadness of your exit the other night was that Brett also went home.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are wondering, did he really go home? But he did, right? Brett packed his stuff too and left.
Oh yeah, he definitely went home. I'm not exactly sure where he's going to end up or what's going to happen with him. Who knows if they'll bring him back or not, but that remains to be seen, I guess. But he's a great person. He's a great trainer, and I wish him the very best in all that he does as well.
Was everyone as shocked when Allison announced that he was leaving as it appeared? I mean, I haven't missed an episode since season 5, and there's a lot of surprises, but I haven't seen any. I mean, even my own. Bob's face was classic. I mean, no one saw that coming.
Yeah, we had heard through the grapevine throughout the week that if I went home, that Brett could end up going home too. But all we were doing was working so hard to make sure that didn't happen. So
Right.
I didn't even think for a second that was going to happen. And then when Allison said, you're not the only one leaving tonight, Courtney, I was like, no, please don't, because like that just made me leave thinking, oh my gosh, I just made him lose his job.
Mm-hmm.
But he graciously went out and he spoke about how it is what it is. Everything happens for a reason, and to hear him be at peace with it too, it really did help, and I think it helped everyone else in the room too. It sucks, don't get me wrong. It was definitely not a good situation for either of us, but I'm proud to say that he was my trainer, and he's a great man, and I wish him the very best, like I said.
Glad to hear that. Well, Courtney, we've got about 5 or 6 weeks left until the live finale. What does your regimen look like here in the next few weeks, food and exercise-wise, to get you ready? Because you are a contender for that $100,000 prize.
I am. For me, I'm just working as hard as I can every single day. I'm being very conscious about, what I'm eating and what I'm doing. And I've actually been traveling a lot, and I've been with a lot of people that are on our season. I've been training with them and doing my thing in that sense. And a lot of people are like, well, I don't know if traveling is going to be good for you. But for me, it's what I need. I need to be accountable, not only to myself, but it's good to have that accountability with everyone else that's going through the same things that I'm going through. So I'm trying to work out about 3 to 4 hours a day. And there's I have my travel days where I'll take that as my rest day, and I'm not able to work out those days. But For the most part, I'm really staying on track and I'm doing my thing. And for me, what I've realized at this point is that it's not so much about numbers anymore. Yeah, for the finale, it's going to be about numbers, but the feeling that I have on the inside and, that it gets better every single day, that's what matters. And that's what's going to make me successful for the rest of my life, is not worrying about, the petty little numbers. Because the bottom line is I've lost 230 pounds. I have to be proud of that, and whether I lose, another 20, 40, however many pounds I'm going to lose, the feeling that I have totally overrides that. And that's what I'm gonna go for every day. The feeling that I have when I stand on that scale at the finale and for the rest of my life, I'm gonna be proud.
Fantastic. And you should. You've worked so hard, and it has been such a joy to get to be part of your journey, a very tiny part of your journey, but it's been so wonderful to follow you, Courtney.
Thank you so much.
We're so looking forward to standing with you on that stage in a couple weeks. So good luck on these next few weeks, and we will see you soon.
Thank you so much, Brandy. I always appreciate you. You guys are the best there at Diets and Review.
Thank you. For dietsandreview.com, this is Brandy Koski. Thanks, ladies.